Hey friends, live again for a second day in a row. I think this is like a record or something. I just thought it would be fun to kind of pop on here and just get a head start on some Valentine's cards. I don't know about you, but I have noticed a lot of people posting Valentine cards again already. And now that now that Christmas cards are kind of almost done. I don't know if anyone's still making Christmas cards. Now that they're kind of done, I feel like everyone's moving to Valentine's cards. So I've had some ideas, and I'm going to be playing with this stamp set again. Hey Daniel, thanks for joining. This is the You Are Here stamp set, and I just love it, from Concord and 9th. I just love these floral roses. So I have some ideas with this. I know I painted this already. All right, so sorry guys. I need to switch the camera around. Where do I do that? Here we go. It never fails. There we go. Never fails. It always kicks me off. Always. So I'm always watching to make sure I'm not like buffering or something. Okay, can you guys see all right? Anyway, hey Madonna. Nice to see you here. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to be doing some Valentine-y cards, and I want to use this Concord and 9th stamp because I absolutely love it. And I want to say, like, I usually use a really cheap, what am I trying to say? A really cheap paper, but I pulled out a different kind of paper. I don't know what it is. It's super smooth, and kind of thick, and I forget which brand it is, but we'll see. We'll see. It's not my cheap paper, I know. It's a little bit more expensive. So I think I'm going to go ahead and stamp this out with my detail ink, so that way maybe I can use some of my alcohol markers. Hey Linda, how are you today? Are you guys ready for Christmas? We are going into the holiday weekend, and I'm so excited. I went big grocery shopping this morning. I got tons of groceries, just loaded up the cart. So I'm going to be baking this weekend. We're going to kind of get some stuff ready to make a nice little Christmas meal. Just my family. We don't have any guests coming over, but it's kind of nice to kind of just do a little Christmas family thing. Okay, I want to stamp this out several times because I like my my lines being nice and dark. And that's the great thing about the Misti, is you can stamp it out as many times as you want. And I don't know if you guys have any of these creative corners yet, but I love them. Keeps your paper right where it needs to go. And if you want to just put it on top of your paper and use that as your magnets too, that I've been using it that way, and it really works. I like it because you use those little individual magnets, and they like to kind of attract to each other, and then if they stick together too hard, they break on you. But these seem to work really nice. Okay, so I've stamped it out 4 times now. I think that might be enough. So I'm going to go ahead and get that out of my Misti. And I want to dry it with my heat tool. This detail ink is permanent once it's dry. So once you dry it, you can use your alcohol markers. You can watercolor on it, color pencils, whatever. Yeah, you know what, Linda? I think I started using my sleeve after I've watched Carissa Wiley do it. She just pulls her sleeve up and uses her sleeve. But yeah, you can use your cloth too. I just think it's easier to kind of just rub on top of it and get that ink all smashed down onto your paper. You should have asked for the creative corners for Christmas, Daniel. It's never too late to put it on your Christmas list. You might not get it till next Christmas, but you know, it's on your Christmas list. Okay, yeah. I'm always cold, so I usually always have long sleeves on, so I have the opposite problem. So it works for me. But yeah, your microfiber cloth works great too. So I'm thinking, let's start with the leaves because I know those are going to be green. I don't know exactly what color I want to use for my flowers yet. I'm thinking pink, but I always do pink, so I don't know if that's a little redundant. So I'm just going to put some color on here with my Stylefile markers. The way I like to do it is I like to take my lightest color first. I know some people like to add the darker color in first and then go from there. Maybe I'm a little weird, but I like to do my lighter colors. So let's see. I like to do sort of a mid-tone color, I guess, now that I'm thinking about it. And then I'll come back in with a lighter color and then do my darker colors and then blend them back out. And I am not an expert on alcohol markers at all, but I have learned a lot from Sandy Allnock. She is an amazing Copic artist. So she gives lots of little tips and inspiration on her YouTube channel. Okay. The Easter Bunny. Or Cupid, that's right. Cupid's closer. Okay, so let's do some darker green. I have a limited, like this is my whole collection right here. I don't have every single color. I have a limited color, but I tried to pick several shades of each color. I think about 3 shades of each is kind of great to start with, like a dark, a mid-tone, and a light. That way you can blend them all together. But I definitely want to get some more of these Stylefile markers. And they are available in the Brutus Monroe store if you're interested in that. They work great and they are a lot cheaper than some of the other brands. I mean, the other brands are definitely very high quality, but I find that these work pretty good enough for me for what I do. I'm not quite ready to go ahead and invest all of my money into Copics yet. They are refillable, Linda. Yes, and I don't know if Brutus Monroe carries refills, but I do know that Stylefile, they have a website you can go to if you want to learn more about them. They also have some charts, some guides for color combinations. I think they also have different starter sets if you're not comfortable picking out all of your own colors. They have suggestions. So just a lot of great resources. Let's see. Okay, now that I have sort of my 3 tones, my lightest, my mid-tone, and then my shadow, I'm going to go back in with my lightest color and just pull that color out. Try to get it to blend. And I can tell I'm working on a different cardstock. It feels different. It seems like it's blending differently than on my usual cheap cardstock. So working on different cardstock definitely makes a difference. I'm kind of wondering if this is like a Bristol smooth cardstock because it is really smooth. So it would be really great for ink blending. I just cannot for the life of me remember where I got this cardstock. It was just in with all of my plain white cardstock, so don't know. Okay, so it blends it out a little bit though. Is it bleeding? No, it's not bleeding through. I don't see it yet. I mean, I can see some dark shadows back there, but I don't see it bleeding through. But you guys can kind of see how it's blending together. All right, so I've got some of that green on there. What should we do? What color should we do for the flowers? I'm kind of tempted to just go pink again, But yeah, it is a very good cardstock. It's nice and thick. It's really smooth. A nice white. I want to say it's like Bristol, but I don't know. Yellows? We could do some yellows. I have, ooh, I could try to make them look like my flowers from my rose bush outside. They're really pretty. They're kind of a orangey yellow, and they have pink on them too. Maybe we should try to do some of that blending. So here's the yellows I have. And then I have some yellowish browns, and then I don't have a whole lot for pink, but we can try to blend some of these together. So let's do that. I think this is my lightest color, so I'll go ahead with that first. I don't know if you guys have like a favorite color palette. I always seem to gravitate towards light pinks and blues, or more pastel colors. Okay. Oh, I missed the leaf back there. We'll go back and get that after we do some of our petals. So since I'm just doing my lightest color first, I'm going to go ahead and just cover all of these petals. Not really worrying about shading right now. Just getting some color on. It is a pretty yellow. I think so too. This is 154. Canaria yellow. It's a really kind of a light and bright one. I have thought of ordering more colors every time I go try to put an order from Brutus Monroe, but then I get so overwhelmed by all the colors and I'm like, I don't know what to pick. So I end up not ordering any. But let's see, I'm trying to think. I think that's a leaf behind here. We'll just make this a leaf too. No, not a leaf, a petal. Excuse me. Hey, Lisa. Thank you. I love any kind of floral stamp. I think the florals are my favorite. One thing that's really fun to color too with these Stylefile markers is hair on any little images of that has, you know, some really nice hair, because you can really do a nice flicking motion with these brush tips, which looks really awesome if you can do some of that with hair. Not that I'm an expert, I just think it's fun to do. Sorry guys, I'm trying to concentrate on my coloring. Apparently I can't color and talk at the same time. Okay, so I have just a really quick light shade of yellow on here. I'm gonna go back real quick, grab my, I don't remember which colors I used for the leaves, but I'm gonna go grab my colors. I don't think it was emerald green. I think it was this one. I'm just gonna color this leaf in really quick. Just trying to stay in the lines. Okay, and then some of this sort of medium tone green. And then a little bit of this dark green right along the edge of these petals where maybe there might be a little bit more of a shadow. All right, and then I'll just go blend it out with this lighter green. bit of a shadow. Well, I'll do not my darkest. I'll do maybe a little bit more of a shadow here around this little flower bud. Oops, wrong end. So yeah, these do have the chisel end as well as the brush end. So they have two different tips. I don't use the chisel tip unless I'm doing like a really big surface that I'm just trying to put color onto. But it's nice to have that option. I'm gonna kind of blend this out a little bit. Okay. All right, so let's move on with the yellows. Let's see. I want to put a darker yellow in. So I'm trying to think, what should I do? Oh, so you do have some Stylefile markers. Yeah, I really like them. I think they work really, really well, at least for me. I don't really have any other brands. I've used Copics before. I've gone to Creativation and I've used Copics. And I think they're great. Okay, I think I want to do this. This is just yellow, but I think it's got more of that. It's a darker yellow. It's got a little bit of that orangey color to it, I think. So let's go in with this and just add some color. I'm trying to add at more of the bottom of the petals and kind of just pull that color out a little bit. So speaking of Creativation, I am so super excited I get to go this year. The last 2 years I've worked in the booth with Canvas Corp brands. I do some work with them as well with social media sharing and things. But they've been so generous to let me come and help them out in their booth. This year, they're not going to be there, but I was able to get my own badge and go on my own, which is really exciting. So I'll be able to take a few classes. I'm going to be meeting up with Jess and Lauren. They're on the Brutus Monroe team as well, and I'm so excited to meet them in person. It's fun when you kind of get to know some crafty friends online, and then you actually get to go and meet them in person. Because then when you finally meet, you're like, you know what? I feel like we've met already. It's kind of like you forget that you've never actually met in person. Really cool. So exciting. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I've had such a fun time the last few years I've gone. So I'm really looking forward to this year. So I'm going to try to do some live videos too when we go. So if there's anything you want to see, if there's any brands that you want me to kind of check out, I'll definitely try to do some kind of a live video. Definitely going to try to get over and say hi to Christopher, maybe do a live with him. He's got some new things that he's going to be revealing at Creativation. And I don't know what they are, so I'm going to be surprised too, unless he kind of fills us in the team. But so super excited. Okay, I'm liking that yellow. Good suggestion to use yellow, because I probably would have gone right for my pinks again. So it's kind of good to switch it up and stretch yourself. Thanks, Linda. I don't know what it is about flowers, but I just love coloring them, stamping them out. Floral cards are always my favorite. And I love these big images too. They're just so perfect for coloring. No, I'm not exactly sure. I'm going to do some shading here. Maybe like that. because I'm not exactly sure if that's supposed to be a petal or a leaf. So we're just going to pretend it's a petal today. Okay, we're getting there. After this, we'll put on, I'm thinking after this, let's try a little bit of pink. Let's add a little bit of pink as our darkest color. See what happens. Okay, so it's looking good. And I'm thinking maybe a little bit of this pink. It's not too dark, so hopefully it'll just kind of blend. So here we go. Let's see what happens. Ooh, that's kind of bright. Don't know if I like that bright of a pink. But maybe we're committed now, so I'm just gonna go with it. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe after I put my lighter shade back on, it'll kind of tone it down a little bit. We'll see. Because I was kind of thinking of a lighter pink, but you know what? That's fine. We'll go with it. When I'm coloring, I tend to want to stay with safe colors with not too much contrast, but sometimes I'm learning that it's actually really nice to add some really contrasting colors because it makes your image just pop a little bit more. So sometimes I like to kind of go out of my comfort zone and try something new. Because at the end of the day, it's just paper, right? It's just a card. If you mess up, you can try again. You can just, you know, color on the back side. No big deal. Okay, so now that I have more of this color on, I think I'm kind of liking that pink. All right, let's do this one. Do a little bit of shading under this petal because it's kind of curled over. So we want to put a little bit of shadow there. Thanks, Daniel. I was really nervous putting this pink on here. I don't know if I liked it at first, but now it's kind of growing on me. Now that I'm kind of really getting the colors on there, put a little shadow under this one too. And when you're using alcohol markers, don't be afraid to just take your time and keep blending on those colors. Sometimes you kind of have to put a few layers on there before it starts looking how you want it to. Yeah, it does add some depth. I agree, Linda. More contrast definitely adds more depth. All right, so I have 3 colors on there. I'm gonna go back with my lightest shade and kind of blend those out. Hey Monique, thanks for popping in here. I'm coloring a stamp set from Concord and 9th. Oh, was anybody here yesterday when we were crafting and doing some foiling. I just had this out because I wanted to show you what I did with that background that I foiled. So if you caught the replay or if you were in here and you were curious what I did with that background, I turned it into a card. Really simple, just added a vellum here behind my sentiment. So now I have a fun little hello friend card that I can send out to someone. Just wanted to show you in case you were curious. So since this is my lightest shade, I'm gonna just start from my darkest from the bottom and just pull all that color out. Just kind of get them, trying to get them to blend a little bit better. And I mean, you don't even have to blend. You could leave it like this because some of those streaks looks kind of cool. But you can definitely go back in and sort of blend and give it a softer look if you want to. This part goes a little bit faster since you can just kind of go over the whole image. You don't have to be too careful about staying right in the lines. And I might actually end up fussy cutting this because I do have an idea of what I want to do for a background, I think. So yeah, I was kind of worried about it looking kind of Christmassy because after I got all the colors on there with the black and the red and the gold, I'm like, okay, those were my Christmas colors from all my Christmas cards. Maybe I'm still a little bit stuck on the whole Christmas theme, but I think it looks pretty good for a friend card too. All right, so can you kind of see the difference now that I'm blending it out? This one's a little bit more blended. These two I haven't done yet. They have a little bit more of a streaky kind of look to them, and I think both of them look really nice. I almost really like that streaky kind of look, but it kind of just shows how much you can get a blend when you go back in with that lighter color. So it just depends on what kind of look you're going for. And you can definitely keep going back and adding more layers and just blending it out. I think I'm just going to do this, add one more layer of my lightest color, and then I think I'll call it done. Hang on, just let me, just peeking at my kids for a second, making sure they're asleep. Yep, they're sleeping. They went down for a nap a little bit late today because we were out running errands. I took my kid, I took my son to Party City this morning so he could help pick out his birthday decorations. I tried to go on my own last weekend so I could go on my own and pick out some surprises for him. But my husband ended up getting called into work, so that didn't happen. So I'm like, you know what? His birthday is next week. I am not going to have time to go out again. We're just going to go and let him help pick out his birthday decorations. So he picked out some monster truck stuff, which is really fun. So there we go. Here is the image all colored out. I think I want to go ahead and fussy cut it because I have some ideas of what I want to do on my background, perhaps. So I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut this. Let me find a scissors. Okay. Thanks, Madonna. Thanks, Linda. I like the yellow too. Thanks for that suggestion. Totally would not have picked yellow. Probably would have just went with my regular pink. So do you guys like fussy cutting or do you hate it? I kind of view it as a necessary evil. I don't really like fussy cutting, but I like the look of it. So I do it. I have contemplated getting a scan and cut but I also don't have room for another machine in my craft room. So that's kind of what's been putting me off. Yeah, I know, Adam, a scan and cut would be awesome. I just don't have room right now. I do have plans to update my desk sometime. I just don't know when. Ooh, you're getting a scan and cut for Christmas. Exciting, maybe. I've definitely thought of that scan and cut. I just have my Cricut, I have my die cutting machine, so I don't know, it's kind of a nice, definitely a nice buy if you liked stamping and cutting out a lot of images at once. I'm just not sure if I'm ready to commit yet. Oh, it came in the mail. Well, you have to act surprised then when you open it. It's always so funny. My husband and I, we love our Amazon Prime. We like to order everything on there. I mean, me because it's easier just to order it than to lug 2 kids to the store and try to think while you're trying to shop. But and my husband too. I mean, he works long hours, so we just love our Amazon Prime. But when we're ordering gifts for each other, it's really hard to keep it a secret when you're both using Amazon, because then you both get the notifications that your so-and-so has shipped. And it's like, oh, now I know what you're getting me. So I think we've kind of gotten to the point where if it's a bigger purchase, we just decide together what we want. And otherwise, we just surprise each other with smaller gifts. Because every year it seems to get harder to think of what to get him. You know what, Daniel? We tried doing that, and I don't know if it's just, I don't know, because I still get notifications even though I'm using my account. I mean, we share the same Prime, and I use my account and he uses his, but I get notifications from his account if he orders something, so I can still see what he orders me, so I don't know what we're doing wrong. But we kind of suck at surprising each other anymore. So that's kind of depressing. Okay, so I thought I would kind of just put this down in the corner down here, maybe. What would that look like? I don't know if I want to cut the edges off, but I want to kind of stick it down here, and then I'm going to do some kind of a light background. Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna do. So this stamp set also has a lot of little hearts. I was gonna stamp those hearts out in white, I think, and then do some ink blending over the top. Oh, is there like a setting that you can change that you can't see each other's account? Do we have to change a setting maybe? I'll have to look into that. Oh, okay. We'll have to look into that and see if we can find that setting, because that would be really handy if we could surprise each other with the Amazon thing. Because right now it's like, thanks, I saw what you're getting me. Okay. So let's, I have a cup of water here. I wasn't sure if I was going to use it or not, because every time I need water, I don't have it. So I have to run to my bathroom and grab water while y'all are sitting there waiting. This time I actually grabbed water, and I don't think I'm going to use it. So, oh well. I'm going to use my Misti for this part. And I want to just kind of stick my paper in there, peel off all these little hearts, and kind of arrange them in my Misti. This is one technique I really love the Misti for, is you can just kind of load up your background with all these little stamps and then stamp them all out at the same time. Okay. Yeah, I love these edges, Monique. These are the creative corners. I like that it holds it into place. And I've been using these instead of like those other little magnets because they work fine. Work perfectly fine. And they don't attract together so hard as the other ones do and break. So I think it's really nice. You also get a few other pieces too, I think. And I can move this up here if I want to put some more hearts kind of hanging off the edge down here. So really handy tool to have. Just kind of randomly setting my hearts in here. I can kind of see where I stamped out my other hearts. So I'm trying to just arrange them around that. And what's really nice about this embossing ink is it doesn't dry unless you hit it with your heat tool. So you can take your time and build your background and not have to worry about it drying on you. I think I will emboss after this stamp though, just so I'm not like ending up smearing any of that ink. And then I'll go ahead and stamp out some more hearts. All right. So I was thinking of doing it in white. So where's my icicle? Here's my Alabaster embossing powder. Because you do it in white and you're not going to see it too, it's not going to show up too much right now, obviously, because it's on a white background. But once I do some ink blending over it, they're going to show up. Because it will resist that ink. Okay, so let's go ahead and emboss those. Okay, so those are embossed and I can keep building my background. So I'm going to grab my Misti and stick it back in here and just magnet down. I'm kind of building hearts just in this corner, I think. I want them to kind of peek out from behind this little guy. So and this is a great idea if you have a lot of these little images. Go ahead and build like a background with them. So small images can be really handy too. Okay. And you can tell I haven't really cleaned my stamps all that well because a little bit of that black ink is coming off. But once you get the embossing powder over it, it kind of covers that up. But if it bothers you, make sure you clean your stamps. I get a little bit lazy sometimes. Okay. When it sticks to your fingers, it's kind of tricky to get them to stay where you want them to go. All right. Okay, so I'm going to emboss that. sure I get all of those hearts covered. Oh, and this one. Almost missed that one. Okay. So my background's starting to come together. You can, if you're a little impatient, just I might just end up grabbing my little block and adding, stamping these on by hand. I mean, the Misti is definitely nice for getting them right where you want them, but I think for the sake of time, I'm just going to go ahead and stamp the rest of these by hand. One thing I like to do if I'm using a lot of these little stamps is put some on each side. So I'm going to stamp this one out. Then I'm going, oops. Hey guys, sorry, kicked me off again. So hang on just a second. I'm going to try not to jolt you guys around too much. There we go. Okay, can you see all right? Sorry. Always kicks me off. Okay, so like I was saying, you can put a stamp on each side of your little block and then just stamp them out really quickly if you want to. I'm going to put another one here and then kind of switch to these little outlined ones. Flip it. I'll switch out these hearts again. Let's see, I'm doing the solid ones now. I think that one slid a little bit. Okay, let's see what that looks like when I emboss it. Grab my coffee filter. Hey, Vay. Thanks for popping in. We are building some Valentine cards or love cards, or I guess whatever kind of cards you want them to be. Let's go ahead and emboss those little images. Okay, so let's see what that looks like. Can you see those hearts? Do I need more? I think I'm going to add some more up here. I don't think I need to fill all that in, but I'm going to add some right up here in this corner. So the one thing about building your own background with these little stamps is it does take a little bit of time, a little bit of patience. So I'll try not to keep you guys all day. I get these solid ones on here. Just trying to kind of map out where, oh, you're not even going to see most of those that I just stamped. So let's keep moving on. We're almost done. What's that going to look like? That might be all right. I'm going to do one more little heart right up here in the corner. All right, we'll go ahead and emboss that, and then we'll call that done. I don't know if you guys can even see the hearts in the background yet, but it'll be worth it when I start adding the ink on there, doing a little ink blending. I'm just going to put these back on my sheet so I don't lose them. Oh, thank you. I'm back again. Seriously, this is getting worse. What is up, YouTube? I have my camera, or I have my phone on silent and airplane mode, so nobody can call me, but I don't know what it is. I can go live on YouTube and no problems. Not YouTube, sorry, Facebook. But then as soon as I get on YouTube, I get kicked off. Maybe I'll have to like email them and ask what's up. Okay, let's emboss that, and then we can start to actually do some of our ink blending in the background. And I'm thinking I might actually dust off my distressed inks. I have not used them for a long time, but I think it might be kind of fun to get them out again. Okay, let me grab my distress inks, make sure these are all embossed. Yes. I don't know if you guys can see those embossed hearts, maybe a little bit. Just a really fun way to use little stamps to build a background. So, okay, I have all of the distress ink colors. I don't have any oxides, but I do have the distress inks. So let's see, I was thinking like a blue would look really nice. This one I think was always my very favorite, this distressed tumbled glass or broken china. Those might look nice behind there. So let's try that out. Unless you guys have any other suggestions of colors, I might stick with these. Put some things away, make some room, grab my blending tools. I'm going to start with some of this tumbled glass. You can see how worn my my blending foams are. Okay, so I want to come on in from the bottom to start to add some of this color. And I don't remember, I think I got my distress inks like 4 years ago now. I've never had to re-ink them. So I don't know if they're drying out or not. I just don't notice it. But I also haven't used them for quite a while. So I'm just coming in from the side, circular motion, and blending this ink on. Trying not to get my fingers in it. I don't want to get any fingerprints on my background. Now, hopefully you can see once you get that color on there, those hearts just kind of pop out, stand out from the background. You know what? I actually do have the refresher spray right here. So I probably should use some of it. I picked that up just to see if it would work, so I didn't want to go ahead and buy re-inkers if all it needed was just like a spritz of that. So far, so good. I mean, I haven't had these inks out for quite a while, and they're still working pretty well. What do you guys think? Maybe I'll add a little bit more, a darker blue on the edges. Whoops. This is broken china. little bit darker of a blue. Right along the corner. Okay, and then let's put some more of this tumbled glass on there. Yeah, now you see hearts, huh? That darker blue is really helping them to pop out. I can see them a lot better as I'm looking at it. Maybe I'll hold that up. Can you see the rest of the hearts? I like how they're really bright down here with that dark ink, and then they kind of fade out. That's kind of what I was thinking about going for. Maybe we'll put a little bit more color coming out here, so it just fades into the background. And I know I was talking about before, like, I don't know what kind of paper this is, but since it's so smooth, this ink is blending really nicely. Sometimes if you use a cheaper paper, it's not quite as nice to blend on. What's in the refresher spray? I don't know exactly. And it says extends the life of your distressed products. It rehydrates. It rehydrates and conditions distressed inks, markers, paints, and other water-based mediums. So it doesn't really say what's in it. It says it's acid-free, non-toxic. Doesn't say what it is. There's no ingredients listed, so I don't really know what it is. Couldn't tell you. I just thought I'd try it. All right, so I'm thinking, I don't know if I would use water. I know they're reactive with water, and I think water might kind of, maybe, kind of, you know what I mean? It might thin out the color a little bit, and maybe lighten a little bit. Because I know with watercolor that will happen. If you add more water, it'll kind of wash out that color a little bit. So since these are water reactive, I kind of think that might happen, but I don't know for sure. Not really sure. So I think I'm good with that color. And I think what I want to do next is one thing that's really fun with the distress inks, since they are water reactive, if you put a liquid on top of them or something, you know, they get those spots. Like, I'm sure you guys have seen that before. So I'm going to use some of my Pearl Aqua Pigment and just add some splatters. So I want to shake this up, get that shimmer really going. And then I'm going to go ahead and just squirt some down onto my craft mat. This pearl doesn't really add any color. It's mostly shimmer. So I'm going to go ahead and pick some up, just add some splatters, and let's see what happens. I hope you guys can see kind of what's going on. I know I'm working with sort of a light background, which probably doesn't come up on camera as well as a darker background would. But I'll try to hold it up to the light, let you see. So this is also adding in a lot more texture too to the background. I'm gonna get some up here. You're not gonna see it very much, but it's gonna add some spots. Some shiny spots that will show up when you kind of turn the card. Okay, that might be enough for now. Let's see if we can kind of let that dry. Where's my towel? Wipe up the extra. Really fun. Do you guys have any of the oxides? I don't have any yet, and everyone keeps telling me I need to get those oxides. I don't have any. Can you see any of that shine? It's hard for me to see on my iPad. I don't have very good quality on my iPad. But if I look on my phone, I can kind of see some of that shimmer. So we'll just let that dry. I'm thinking with this of just kind of adding it here. So I'm going to get a card base cut down while that's kind of soaking in. Sometimes if you let it soak in for about a minute, it gets some of those really nice textury spots, if that's a word. Let's go ahead and grab a piece of white paper down here. Now this is my thinner, cheap paper, I call it. It's my Walmart paper. I actually have some Nina Classic Crest in my wish list for Christmas. Because up until now I've been working with just the Walmart paper, which you can still do some really amazing things with cheap paper. So it's totally fine. You can still ink blend on it. You can do all kinds of things on it, but different papers have different properties. Like this smooth paper that I'm using works really great for the ink blending because it doesn't soak into the paper quite as quickly. It kind of stays on top of that paper for a little bit so that you can kind of get that ink moving around and it gets a nice smooth blend on there. All right, got that ink drying. Just kind of taking a look at it. I'm gonna cut this down a little bit. There we go. So that I have a nice little matted border. So I'm gonna cut it off of this side, I think. So 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 is your usual size. And again, kicked me off again. I'm back. I was just saying, hey, I don't know if you heard me say hi to you, Dee, but I did. I know, Vay, it's crazy how every paper, like, I mean, there's papers that are good for ink blending. There's papers that are good for Copic markers. There's a paper for everything, and it's crazy. But I've honestly been using the Walmart paper mostly, and you can still do some really great cards with the Walmart paper. So don't be afraid to go ahead and use the cheaper brand. Okay, I just want to kind of dry that a little bit. The more expensive brands, they are going to look better and they'll give you some better results, but you can definitely get some really good, you can still make some good cards with a cheaper paper. So don't be afraid to, you know, get the cheaper paper. I would say it kind of depends on what you want to do. Are you making cards, like professional cards that you want to sell, or are you making cards for yourself because you like to create? If you just like to create, don't be afraid to go cheap. But if you are selling them, you might want to do something with a higher quality, I think. Yeah, Dee, it was buffering because I think I've gotten kicked off of YouTube like 3 times already. I don't know what's up with YouTube. It must not like me. I keep having to go in and get back into my live stream. Okay, so this is some of the Brutus Monroe adhesive, foam adhesive. It is really sticky. So if you have trouble pulling off these backers, like sometimes I do, sometimes it comes off really easily, but a pokey tool I find works the best. You just have to get under that backing paper. I mean, it's a good thing that it's sticky for building shaker cards and different things. But sometimes it takes a minute to pull off that backing paper. Dee, I'm making sort of a Valentine's card. We are using the Concord and 9th You Are Here stamp set. I just really love this floral image. So I went ahead and I colored it with my Stylefile markers and fussy cut it out. And then I'm building a background for it. Now I'm just trying to get the backing off of this foam adhesive. Thanks, Dee. I was saying earlier, I think flowers are my favorite. Favorite to color, to work with. Just love all the floral stamps. Okay. Yeah, you have that trouble too with the backing paper. It kind of takes a minute. I have to say I really like that it's nice and sticky, but it does take a minute to get it all off. Hey, Roberta. Thanks. I love the yellow too. My kind viewers suggested using yellow. I totally would have gone with pinks because I usually do, but they suggested yellow and I thought, you know what, we'll do it and I'll do something that I don't usually choose, and I absolutely love how it turned out. I think it pops against that blue background. So I just went ahead and I put my card base down, put some of that foam adhesive back there to kind of pop up this front panel. I just think that looks kind of nice with the matting around there. And I think I want to pop this one up too, but I don't want it to be as thick. So now I'm going to use this, this foam adhesive, which is not quite as thick. You can actually tear it. I use this a lot for my, just my die cuts and things. And the backing paper is a little bit easier to kind of get off. Merry Christmas to you, Roberta. Hope you guys have some really nice Christmas plans. And you get to spend time with family. Oh, Dee, are you going to start getting the style files? You won't regret it. So I'm just trying to, like, I want a little bit to hang off, but I don't want it to go over my card base. Merry Christmas, Dee. I love it. Everyone coming in and saying Merry Christmas. Okay, so I have my background. I've got my flower on top here. And what should we put on top? Should we do a sentiment with a die cut? Or should I cut out or stamp out one of these? I really like that. How could we stamp that out and put it over the top? Maybe we could do a sort of a mix of the die cut sentiment. Let's see here. Okay, so here's my Brutus Monroe die, sentiment dies. Yeah, I agree. The barrels are a little bit big. So at first it felt really awkward, but once you kind of get used to it, I don't notice it quite as much. At first I really didn't think I liked them, but now since I don't have Copics to compare it to, now it seems normal to me. Okay, so here's my Brutus Monroe dies. I think it would be really fun to kind of add one right over here, maybe right over the flower, or do you guys think that would take away from it too much? And then I was thinking maybe I could put one of these little thanks dear friend, or thanks I also have hello, happy birthday, celebrations. You do like hello, dear friend. Okay. Ugh, that's adhesive stuck to my stamp pocket. All right, let's get that out of here. We could do a hello on the front. Hello, dear friend. Dear. Oh, I don't have a friend. You do. You are a rare find. Or, yeah, covering up my flower. We could just, oh, you know what we could do? We could just stamp out a few of these little sentiments on a little strip of paper and just put them on the side here so that most of the flower is still showing. I kind of have to admit this little area bugs me a little bit because it's white and the background is blue, so I feel like it stands out. Maybe we should put a little sentiment over that. So I could put prayers in my heart, thoughts. I could put you are a rare find right there. Should we do that? Let's do that. That's kind of a Valentine-y sentiment, right? And what should we use? Black cardstock? Okay, that's not the sentiment I'm going to be using, but I want to see what it would look like on black cardstock. I think that might look nice. I feel like the black kind of helps it pop out. And yeah, I think the black helps it pop. So we'll do that. Let's do black. And should I do gold embossing powder or white? Maybe white, since I don't have any other gold on this card. So let's grab this sentiment. You are a rare find. Pop it up on my stamp block. You think the gold look good? I am not opposed to using gold. Most of my cards have a little bit of gold somewhere on there, so we can definitely use the gold. Hold it back up there. Okay, where did I put my little sentiment? Oh no, where did I put it? Here it is. What do you think? Should we do gold or should we do white? Because white would stand out on the black cardstock too. But you like the gold? We can definitely do gold. I am not opposed to gold. I love my gold, my gilded. The people have spoken. We want gold. I have to say I have, I think, 3 bottles of the gilded embossing powder. And I am not sorry because it's my all-time favorite. All right, let me grab my gilded and then we'll emboss that. They are fabulous, Linda. I love it. And I feel like I'm noticing a lot more of the bigger YouTubers using them. Every time I'm watching a video and they pull out their bottle of Brutus Monroe embossing powder, I'm like, yeah! I'm in the background here cheering. That's true. If it doesn't look right, we can always save it and do the white. But I think it'll look good. Put it above the heart or at the bottom of the V. We can definitely do that. Let's see which one looks good. Trying to get that straight. Okay, before I trim off the other end, I want to see. Put it down here. Actually, let me go ahead and trim off the edge. I know, I kind of did want to cover that white. I could have it come in from this side. Or is that covering too much? Like if I cut it off here, is that covering too much of that flower? Or should I just cut it here and put it right in the middle? All these decisions. You got your new heat tool. Vey, did you get the Wagner? Sometimes they do smell a little hot. But I would say if it worries you at all, you could always email the company or, you know, make sure it doesn't like, oh, from the edge looked good. I went ahead and I cut it down. What if we did that? I think I agree. I think I do like it coming in from the edge because I could always pop it up on a little foam adhesive on this side so it's even. We could do that. Okay, I can always stamp it out again because no problem. Because I think I'm liking that too a little bit better than just the sentiment on the front. Unless I put it here, kind of put it off to the side. What do you think? Should we just kind of place it down on the side here? is my card. It's true. I'm kind of liking it like right there, because then it doesn't cover up everything. I'm going to emboss this. And then we can do like the quick switcheroo and see what we like better. I have to say, it kind of takes me a while to build cards. I can be a little bit picky about them because I usually have an idea in my head of what I want it to look like, and sometimes it just doesn't turn out. But I like to just remind myself that it's just paper, and we can always redo it or do something else if you don't like it. Oops. I want to make sure my heat gun's not touching any of my other things that are going to melt. Okay, so let's do like the quick switch little method here and see what we like. So do we like the sentiment there, or do we like it coming in from the side? I think I really like it just like that, because the sentiment is there, but it's not covering up the whole flower. So I might go ahead with that. And I know I'm getting a lot of adhesive on here, but I feel like it needs to be popped up. Popped up with some more adhesive. Yeah, that's that large thanks probably would have covered up a lot of the flower. I agree. Yes, I do, Dee. I have problems like yesterday I had so many problems with that embossing powder sticking everywhere. It would stick everywhere on my paper, even though I know it was dry. I had stamped it out like an hour before the ink was dry. I was heating it with my heat tool. I used my embossing buddy bag, and it was just not cooperating. All right. So I think that's the card. I think it's done. Unless you guys think I need to add some sequins, but I kind of really just I like how simple it is, that you can kind of see all the colors in that flower. So thanks so much for suggesting the blue. I don't think I would have gone with blue. So anyway, I think this is it for my card for today. Humidity. Humidity might play a part in it. I know yesterday it was kind of rainy, so maybe that's why all my embossing powder was sticking. Thanks, Linda. So I think I'm going to head off here, get a few things done before my kids wake up. But thanks, you guys, for popping in and saying hi and crafting with me. I really enjoy these live crafts, these live videos. So I'm going to try to do, you know, at least one, maybe 2 a week or something. Depends on how my day's going. Otherwise, Merry Christmas to you guys. Merry Christmas, Dee. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and you get to spend time with all your loved ones and eat a lot of Christmas cookies. Be happy and safe. Thank you, Vay. All right. Well, I'm going to head on off. Thank you for stopping by, and have a great day, everyone. Bye.